Hello everyone, thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Myra Chen and I'm your host for today's eLotus webinar. Here at eLotus, we have been hosting educational courses for over 2 decades, and we are proud to be your trusted source for premium CEU content with over 200 speakers, 700 courses, and 3,000 hours of CEUs. Today's webinar is Su Jok Hand and Foot Therapy for Instant Relief, presented by Aaron Zizov. Before we begin, I'd like to go over a few items to familiarize you with our webinars and how they work. Today's webinar will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Time, and we will have one break. For lecture notes, download them directly from the blue course access page in your eLotus account. To use the webinar chat room, set your preference to everyone so that everyone can see what you're typing and be a part of the conversation. To ask the speaker a question, enter your question into the Q&A box. If time allows, the speaker will respond to them. And finally, the quiz and the video replay. You'll be notified by email tomorrow once they are available. If you want to learn more about hand therapy, we had Dr. Dan Lobash, who taught Korean hand therapy, KHT, a while back, and it's available as video for purchase. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Aaron Zizov, who completed his graduate studies in acupuncture, herbal medicine, and shiatsu in 2004 from Medicine College, located in Tel Aviv, Israel. Aaron specializes in gynecology and Chinese cosmetology and has taught at leading colleges in Israel. He currently teaches professional workshops and courses in Israel and Europe in Chinese cosmetology, tongue diagnosis, and Chinese astrology. He has taught all these topics with us, and you can find these courses at elotus.org. I'll share the link with you once I get back to my computer. We are honored to have Aaron joining us today, all the way from Tel Aviv. So let's go ahead and give him a big welcome. Aaron, will you please take over now and share your PowerPoint?
Yeah, thank you very much, Myra. And hi, everybody. I will just open the presentation just for a second, and it will be all ready. Just make sure. Okay.
Hello, good.
So is it on?
Yeah,
Sam, do you
good.
see? Yeah. Okay, great. So good morning to Hawaii, San Jose, LA, Pennsylvania, Oregon, San Diego. Okay, I see most in the States and other parts in the world, maybe just watching the football now. Okay, so good morning to all, good afternoon or evening or good night or wherever you are. Thank you for joining me on this specific seminar. Thank you, eLotus, for hosting me once again. It's for me, again, it's really exciting to share the knowledge, to be able to show practitioners all over the world different kinds of methods and systems and ways that I see in my practice that really work well, of course, for the benefits of patients, but also for us to make our life our practical life a bit easier. So I would like just to see something here. Okay, just my screen, updating everything. And okay, so let's start. First of all, I'm going to introduce what the topics for today will be about Su Jok, hand and foot acupuncture or treatment, I will say, because we will see that there are various ways to treat with this system. So I'll give introduction on the system itself and how it was created, different reflections of how we see the whole body on the hands and on the feet. I will introduce the basic system and then the insect or animal system, with that, different areas and organs that we can see through the hand and foot, and different stimulating tools that we can work with. Now, part of what made me think of this seminar or this lecture, I would say, is COVID. COVID that took, let's say, it's about 3 years now. We came into a situation that for some parts, we were on lockdowns, and patients who needed us couldn't get proper treatment. Clinics were closed for kind of even for a few months in certain places in the world. And I found myself explaining to patients, video was still possible, WhatsApp and talking was still available to all of us. And kind of the telemedicine started to develop during this time, while people who suffer, from chronic and acute problems, I found myself explaining to them how to work on themselves, and very easy way, actually, because till then it was, okay, so you have, so if patient is not relaxed, okay, you can press on heart 9. So explaining how to press heart 9, how to locate it, or pericard 6 for nausea during pregnancy, or just another way to relax. So all kinds of different points, which are, if you are not professional, it's kind of difficult to know how to locate them and how exactly to work on them. So with this method, with the Sujok, which I studied, many years ago, I'm in practice, full practice, something like 18 years now, and 18, 19 years. And I always wanted to know and to learn more different kind of tools, and to understand how to give a better effect even from far. So I'm actually, part of my diagnosis system is through the tongue and through the chart, the date of birth. And with that, I can understand many, many aspects on the patient, and with that, to give a proper recommendations. If it's herbs, which it's possible to send to the patient, or if it's diet, which I can recommend immediately, or even different kinds of ways of posture, how to sit, how to lay, stretching, all the macro stretchings from, like meridian stretching, and different ways of exercise. So it's all possible to recommend, but still not all of them are so exact as like being straight to the point. We as acupuncturists, we know how to find the exact point and to create an amazing effect, immediate effect, even in many kind of issues and problems. And usually we know in our practice with Chinese medicine, we know different methods that work distally, okay? And the balance method, Dr. Tan, Master Dong, the abdominal acupuncture, which I gave a lecture last week, seems like weeks ago, actually. So there are many methods, there are many systems that work remotely, that work distally, and Su Jok is one of the easiest ones. Actually, I remember when my kids, I have twin boys that are now 12, almost 13, but when they were like 5 or 6 years ago, and one morning, on the weekend, I was looking at this book. It's like basic book about Su Jok. I will represent it also later on. It's so I just looking and kind of refreshing my my understanding and few topics, and they looked at me. They were really small, and I explained to them the system, and in like few minutes they understood. Okay, these are the legs, these are the hands, this is the head. That's it. It's very easy. Where's the knee? Where's the hip? Where's the elbow? Very easy to remember, and they still remember it. I'm not lecturing at home for them on this topic, but they still remember. So they use it when they need. I mean, also another thing that they can use very easily without learning too much. And this is like the basic idea of what made me choose this topic and to talk about this, because today remotely we can do that quite easily. We can, of course, give a treatment in the clinic, but we can also recommend for the treatment from distance. Actually, patients of mine, when they are sometimes abroad and they feel sick, I don't know, constipation, when they are traveling abroad in vacation, what can I do? What can I do? So, okay, now I can explain all the meridian points and so on, but I can just show them the area of the large intestine in the abdomen and put some seeds on it or press. It's much easier, much more practical, okay? So this is basically what I'm going to talk today by explaining the basics of the method. So first of all, this is the founder of the system, Professor Park Jae-woo. Professor Park Jae-woo, he's a professor of science from South Korea, and the method that he built, this amazing method, is actually based on the research of life science by the classic science of the West, which combines the ancient knowledge of Chinese medicine, some Indian medicine like Ayurveda, and all kinds of aspects which are well known for hundreds or even thousands of years. And the whole philosophy of this method is based on the idea that the body represents everything, like all life and the universe. And we have in our bodies everything that we need in order to be healthy. So the idea of this method is Su in Korean represents, the meaning is hand, and Jok is leg. And the system is based on the understanding that on our hands and our legs, same as on all over the body, we have all the meridians and organs, there are reflections on the hand and on the legs. And in each of them, these reflections, they can affect immediately, in seconds, minutes, or during the day of the treatment. They can affect the area or the organ that is unbalanced or sick or damaged. Okay, so with this, of course, there are different tools which are possible to combine in this. So we as acupuncturists, we can use needles, but a patient at home won't really use needles. He has maybe he has a pen, or he has I don't know, matches or whatever, even fingers or fingernails. They all will create some kind of stimulation. So we can recommend on this. They eat apple, they can take the seeds out and put them on different areas. So the hand and the feet are representing the whole body, and we will see exactly how the connections, how we can see them, and with stimulating again the specific points or specific areas, all the mechanism of healing will start in the body, because basically it all goes through the brain. We stimulate the brain with, we have sensors on our skin, and we are actually kind of stimulating, even when I'm just holding my hands, even if I'm walking just barefoot or even with shoes, I'm walking, I'm stimulating points on different areas, and this is kind of a basic healing. Okay, so the idea of Professor Park is to spread love and to spread health to all people all over the world. And the method, the system, you can see, even if you do facial diagnosis, you can see how great the man looks. I don't know him. I didn't know him in private, but I have some of his books and lectures that I got through the years. And you can really feel the effect of how the person, how the man wants to spread the knowledge in this way and the love of that. Okay, so basically, this is like the true healing, and this is his belief of true healing, which is possible with the ability of people to take responsibility on their health, and with that to create, to spread it, of course, but to be balanced. We all want to be healthy, and part of it is to teach, to learn and to teach others how to use this system in a very easy way with all the different reflections on the body. Okay, so we can teach our patients how to control their health with our help. Of course, we can help them, but when they understand the basics of this, it might be quite simple. So the books, you will see that during this lecture, seminar, kind of, we can call it, you will hardly see words, not so many written stuff in this presentation. You will see mostly figures and pictures that it was, usually I like to do them myself. On my presentations, I like to draw, and I like to create my own characters and picture and stimulations, but it's too challenging to do this for on this topic. It's quite difficult because it's really art, and someone worked on it kind of really nicely, and beautiful figures and images. So I'm like, just showing things that I took from these books. And during the presentation, you will see all the books on the sides, okay, on the sides of the slides, just to remind, and copyrights or whatever, it's all from these books, mostly from the first two ones, the yellow one and the one with the seed. Other books, I have also some other books too, but the two other books have more information and also more figures. They're a bit older, but still there's lots of information. It's like the whole philosophy and the whole information about the topic, okay, about this subject. So actually I kind of put everything in presentation here, which will be very easy for you. I also put some of them with colors that it will be even easier to check it or to see it. If you're in clinic, just you can take download to your phone or tablet or computer, or just to print some of these to the and put them in the clinic. But the basic idea is that you don't really need to remember anything. You just need to understand the basic rules, and according to that, you can just see it quite easily. So just understanding the method. As my kids understood it, you can do too, for sure. So few more things about the understanding of the method. So you see the books here, they will be through the presentation all the time. So a few more things, just some more indications about the method. We can expect to get results, as I mentioned, in few seconds. If you do it on the right way, like you're exact, you find the exact place according to the diagnosis, of course. You find the spot, the sensitive spot, you work on it in any kind of way, which we'll talk about later. But again, just by pressing or working with some kind of stick, you can feel immediate, if it's on you or your patients, it's possible to feel immediate relief, few seconds or few minutes after. It's very safe. Okay, it means that we don't create any kind of harm. There will be no damage, even if you don't work correctly or exactly on the right spot. You can't make any damage if you don't find the exact place. So won't be any effect or improvement. But basically, the method is based on this safety, which is again very safe and controllable. It's a universal kind of system which we can use any part in the body. We can use the whole hand. I will show you later, of course. We can use the whole hand as the whole body. We can use only one finger as the whole body. We can use even one knuckle as the whole body too. It's crazy, I know, but it works. It's amazing. It's accessible. It's very easy to use it. You don't need too much theories. When you get the method, it stays. And the use of that, or the effect or the techniques, are very easy with the hands, with, again, pressing with different sticks, needles, magnets, anything you can use with this, like in the clinic, like with acupuncture, acupressure, and so on. So you can use it anywhere, everywhere, anytime. Okay, so the basic understanding of the standard reflection of systems of the hands and the feet. I will just make some, just 1 second, I'm sorry. I will take a spotlight, okay? Spotlight, like this. So you can see the whole body on the hand, on the feet. So it also depends, of course, which hand you're looking at, okay? The basic way of these reflections is when we look at our hand like this, like a mirror, okay? And in this way, we can see the head area. This is like the yin part. Later on, I will explain the yin and yang areas and so on. But basically, we have the head, we have 2 legs, we have 2 hands, we have all the abdominal area and chest area, and the same for the leg. We have the head, we have 2 hands, and we have 2 legs with all the internal areas. Okay, so it's like, if you know reflexology, which is a different method, which we as acupuncturists or Chinese medicine, we can see, of course, the reflections of the body, but in this method, it's much more easy for us to make the understanding of how these reflections work, because we can see the parallel, like in parallel, we can see exactly how meridians and locations of organs according to the different areas. So, of course, I will review it deeply, but first of all, just the understanding of the different images. So, these basic like reflections of hand and leg are based on different areas that we can look at. So there is some kind of understanding that if we have like imagination between the whole body, for example, we have like limbs, we have 4 limbs and the head area. Also on the hand, we have 5 parts. So each of these parts is parallel to the other areas, which means there is like imagination between these these different parts, but also we have imagination on the location of each of these parts. And we can see that the head, for example, okay, the head of the body, is taller, okay, such as, or like the thumb. We can see that on the legs, they kind of the lowest, okay, like these two fingers, okay, like third and fourth. And we can see that two hands are kind of on the sides, okay, like the hands here. So this is another understanding. With that, we have also imagination of joints and prominent parts with directions and proportions. So the head is turned up, okay, to the sky area, like the thumb, which of course we see the thumb this way, but we can raise it and we can see the imagination with that, okay? And of course the legs are turned down, the hands again on the side, but they are turning down. With that, we can see the proportions. The proportions, the imagination between these proportions is that the head is short, it's like the thumb, okay? On the head we have one part, which is the head itself, and the neck. Same as the thumb, we have the upper part, like one knuckle, and another area which is kind of the same. So if I'll do this, it kind of looks, you can see the imagination. If I look from the side, wait, you will be able to see also the area, like my nose, which is quite big. This area of the thumb is a bit wider. So this is like the nose again. Okay, and other parts are basically all the limbs, like all the knuckles, we have 3 parts of each. Okay, so it's kind of the same also on the number of the different joints. So again, the shape of the thumb looks like the head more than any other finger in the body. Okay, so you can see the face area, which is the frontal part of the thumb, and the neck as the young aspect, young area of the thumb. So another thing is that the thumb is basically like the head, like the brain. The brain is controlling all the body, like every aspect in the body is controlled by the brain. And in the same way, we can say that the thumb can touch any other finger, can get to any other part of the different fingers. So it has another kind of connection of like the manual of nature, of how it made us, that the head controls everything and the thumb controls or is able to control other parts in the body. We have another part of the reflections. Now we're going to talk about different reflections between the different areas. From time to time, I will check the chat just to see if there are any kind of questions. Basically, in like halfway, we will take a short break of like 15 or 20 minutes, but basically we still have time for that. Okay, I'm just mentioning, but for any kind of question, please write in the chat. Okay, so here we can see different, like 16 parts. We can see the part of the head, which is reflected in the thumb and on the big thumb of the leg. Okay, we see number 2 as the neck or throat area, number 2 here, number 2 here. Number 3 as the chest, this is the area on the hand, the area on the leg. Number 4 as all abdominal area and internal organs, number 4. And same, and goes on, okay? Now, when we go to the hands, we see number 5 is reflected here, number 5, 6, and 7, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, when this is the right leg, okay, right foot and left, left foot and left hand. Okay, so we can see all the reflections here. So we have the hands, right hand, which is on this part, like 5, 6, 7. Left hand is 11, 12, 13, 11, 12, 13. 11, 12, 13, also in the leg. So in the leg, you need to consider that the head you kind of lift it up, okay? Like you bring it here. All this part of head, throat, and chest kind of comes up. We'll see that later. And the legs, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16, 14, 15, 16, and same as here in the two legs. Reflection. Okay, so question, if someone is missing a finger, what would you suggest to help that person with balanced health in their life, especially if they are missing a thumb? Okay, first of all, there's another thumb on the other hand. There are two other thumbs on the legs. So there are many ways to work on that. Okay, if it's missing, it's missing. But still, we have lots of extras, basically. Okay, so it's possible to balance it with that. So next one is the reflections of yin and yang. So the red ones obviously are yang, which are more exposed to the sun. And the yin is on the shadow, not exposed to the sun. So the back area, all this red area is yang. How it's reflected on the hand, this part of the hand, okay, is the yang, or this part of the foot. On the back, again, as we can see, the yang area is on the outside, the back, the let's say the taiyang in our language, okay? Taiyang, but also the outer part, like the yang meridians of the hand, of the leg, and the yin area is the inner part of the hand, the inner part or frontal part of the body, and the foot, the lower part. Okay, so these are like the different areas. So if we want to treat the face, the chest, the abdomen, it will be from the yin part. If we want to treat the neck, the back, the shoulders, the back of the head, so we will treat on the yang areas. Okay, and of course, from with more understanding, we will find the exact locations also. There is another way to understand the part of basically the chest, like the chest and the abdomen. We can divide it to two parts, okay? Above the diaphragm and below the diaphragm. So below the diaphragm, let's start with the above, okay? Above, we can see the area from the diaphragm up, chest and face, which will be on this line of the hand. So it's like the area that we see that is more like swollen, let's say, okay? This area, this is chest and abdomen, chest and the throat and face. On the leg, this is the area, and again, this is from the yin part, okay? This is the yin part. And the yang part, which is neck and upper back, it will be above the line of the diaphragm here and right here on the leg. Below, which is all the area of the abdomen and genitals, all this part is just the foot, except the fingers. And all this part, very easy to understand, except the area here, maybe I took it a bit, basically less than this, okay? When I drew it, or I colored it, it was just a bit less from here, okay? But basically all the part of the palm, and on the leg the same, on the yang area, and on the yang area of the hand. Okay, so again, we need to understand, is it yang or yin area? When there's a problem somewhere, yang or yin area, and then is it below or under, like below or above diaphragm? After that, we can see in more details the specific locations. And this is basically how it goes. We need to understand when we look at our hand. So this is if you look at your right hand and right foot on the yin part, okay? On the yin part, what will we see? The different reflections. Okay, even though we can see also the skeleton here, which is more on the outer, on the yang part, but still on this side is how you look at your right hand and how you locate all the areas in your right hand. And on the left side is when you look on your left hand. So let's just go on the basics of that because it changes. It changes the different fingers. So for example, face is face, throat is throat on both sides. Right now, let's start with the right hand. Just look at your right hand for now, okay? So just find your face, eyes, nose, mouth, ears on the sides, okay? Then go to the throat area, then the chest, you can see here the lungs, you can see the heart, and then let's go to the limbs. So second finger, okay, thumb is right, one, second finger, the index finger is number 2. This is your right hand. When on your right hand you have the shoulder, which is around here, you have the elbow, you have the wrist, and you have the palm with the different fingers. Still on the right hand, if you go to the 5th finger, you will see the same way your left hand. So these are the hands. Okay, the legs. So right leg will be the 3rd finger, left leg, 4th finger. Okay, so this is when we look at the right hand. If we look on the left hand, so 5th finger right here is the right hand. Okay, why? Because it's by the perspective of how we look at our body. So if I'm looking like this, I just need to turn it, and then I can see, okay, this is my right hand, this is my right leg, this is my left leg, this is my left hand. Okay, on the right side, so this is my right leg, my right hand, sorry, my right leg, my left leg, and left hand. Okay, so you can see it all like this, in this way. It's turned on this position because it's easier for us to look at our hands on this position. Okay. I'm just checking the chat. Okay, sorry. So if time allows, please go over the literature as in which finger represent right or left hand, leg on each hand. Okay. So Dita, I believe, I hope I answered it on this slide. If not, just, yeah. Yes, okay. Okay, great. Okay, so basically this is, again, as I mentioned, you don't really need to remember anything. Just remember how to look and then to find out. So of course I will give many examples later on, but the idea is that if now you have a pain somewhere on your right wrist, okay, let's say carpal tunnel syndrome. So how do I locate it on my just hand? So if it's on my right hand, I'm writing a lot, so I have pain on the wrist. So I'm looking at my hand. I remember these are the legs, okay, like a walking man with the hands, okay, walking, and hands on the side, okay. So this is my right hand. Sorry. Okay, so the hand is like this way. I'm just managing with the camera all the time. So I'm going to, I will just demonstrate it on the screen, okay? So I'm looking at my right, I'm searching where my right hand is and where is the wrist. And here on the wrist, I can identify the different locations. So I will start searching sensitive points with my finger, with my nail, with the little toothpick or whatever, okay? Match. Many times in the clinic, I do it with the tubes of the needles. So I'm like searching for sensitive points. But of course, there are also all kinds of different tools that I can check exactly the location, not so, I can take the spring out and it will be more tough. But later on, of course, I will talk about all stimulations, okay? So I'm checking and searching for sensitive point, and then I start manipulating or stimulating it until pain is gone. Okay, I'm going to talk about the whole process of how we do that. Okay, so question of Jennifer or comment. Work my right pink, and my whole right hand is stiff and contracted from 2 months. And my left pinky is now stiff and achy. Presents the right hand. Okay. So, of course, you can locate exactly according to the area where you find the stiffness and the pain, you can locate it. And of course, it's much easier to work on fingers rather than the whole hand. Okay. So after this lecture, I'm sure you will have many tools of how to work on it and solve it in a better way, faster way. Okay. So if this is understood, just one more sentence about this, that any kind of differences that we feel or see on the different areas on the hand, it might be on the reflections area, okay? It can be on the hand or on the foot. So different aspects like pain, like sensitivity when we press, differences on the color or swellings or all kinds of depressions or sockets on the area, they indicate that basically that the disease or the problem is affecting the body in some way. So part of prevention is from time to time to feel the areas and to understand what's going on there and to treat them immediately. It's very, it's possible and it's helping a lot. Okay, so if this slide is understood, I'm going to move on to different locations of organs and skeleton. So now consider that you look on the left hand and left leg. Here we can see the yin area and the yang area, okay, of the hand, yin area of the yin, of the leg, of the foot, and yang area. So just let's pay attention to the meanings of the different areas. So again, it's the left hand. So obviously the face. I'm starting here on the yin part of the hand. So right lung will be here. Left lung will be here. Liver is over here. You can see the shape of it. Stomach is here and hiding under the heart. We have the large intestine, which is actually kind of here, appendix area, and the whole area of large intestine, and ends up right here in the rectum. Bladder is here also, and more on the frontal part, okay, on the yin area. So bladder and uterus are here. With the bones, we have the right humerus. Oh, no, sorry, it's this. And anyway, so we have all these areas here. We have here on the yang area. So we have the back of the head and occiput right here. Then we have the spine and cervical vertebrae. Then we have spine and ribs on this area. More on the thoracic area, we have the spine and ribs also here. Then spine and lower and the lumbar vertebrae right here. We have the pelvic bone. We have coccyx and sacrum. So actually,